Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Asea 5. This is the first one in 2023. We hope that everybody's had a great holiday a couple of weeks here in our absence. We trust that you have. We're missing Dr. Maureen Hayes tonight, who is with her family this evening, and I'm sure that she's going to regret that but we're glad that she's with her family. My name is Dr. Lee Osler. I'm from the state of Washington in the U.S., and I'm joined with our co-hosts, Jim and Ann Glenn, who are in San Antonio. So let us know there. Jim is our anchoring money guy, we call him, because of his background in the financial services industry. And he chips in with some really great, wonderful balancing things to our typical kind of medical, professional, health-related, information. So we're glad to have them here, and we'll have Maureen back next week. We have tonight a wonderful guest. He really needs no introduction, so we're not going to give him too much of an opportunity to get a big head, but he is one of the anchors for Asea from the get-go, and he'll maybe remind us of that as he tells his story as we go forward. But Alan Noble comes to us from Dallas, and we've got him on tonight in a pivotal point for 2023 because it is our kickoff for a new year. This is a typical time we all set new goals, kind of begin our new exercise routines. We call it the Redox lifestyle. And so we're trying to set that in place here. And what a better person to have than Alan to light the path forward and motivate us and get us excited about everything and all things Asea. So Alan, could you come on board and give us your New Year's salute and tell us where you came from, why you're here, and take us off into 2023 the right way.
New Year's salute. I didn't know, like a special handshake or something. It reminds me of the Seinfeld episode, There
you go.
But anyway,
Happy New Year's salute.
Hey, Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you, Lee. Appreciate the introduction. Anne and Jim, thank you for inviting me onto this call tonight. I know there was a whole host of other people that weren't available. I was available, so here I am.
Well, I'm going to jump in real quick. We tried Tyler Norton, and the next best at Asea is Alan Noble. And I just want to kind of jump in there real quick because we are about the business. We are about the science. We are about blessing other people. But please remember that we will share a little bit about what this technology is. But this is a business type of a introduction today with Alan Noble. He is going to share his story, but there's a lot of people all over the world that haven't heard about Asea Redox and all the technologies that we have. You will only hear about it from someone else, and that's because our founders chose to deliver this through network marketing. So please remember that. If you're not too crazy about that, that's okay. Just stick around and you will be amazed with Alan Noble. So thanks, Alan.
That's right.
Wow. Well, that's a lot to live up to. So I guess we better get started. Somebody just said, hey there, Warda from Malaysia. Yeah, I am drinking a little self-performance. This is my evening.
That's right. We just finished.
This is my mind mood combo.
Awesome.
Keeps me chill, relaxed, but focused. So, okay, let's get into some stuff. When I was talking to you, Jim, and about the topic on tonight, obviously it's a new year, 2023. It's a blank slate. It's a clean piece of paper. It's a whiteboard with nothing on it yet. And it's all of this potential. And that's the way I see New Year's. It's just full of incredible potential. And I guess the question for all of us is, are we ready to really live our full potential this year? And for me, that's more than just business. I did a little Facebook post earlier today. I just came back from a vacation in Mexico. It was a fantastic time. This is not an Irish tan. And it's certainly not a Texas tan with the cold we've been going through in December. But it was a wonderful time, great time for reflection, and really looking forward and thinking, what is my potential in 2023? And for me personally, I divide that up into business goals, which for me is Asea. I divide it up into business goals. I'm also a classically trained musician, and I really want to get back playing more seriously, practicing a lot more, and I've never really achieved my full potential there. There's still more. And so really getting back into that, I've got music goals. I've fitness goals. When we get to our age, we got I got to really start taking that seriously. Flexibility, strength, cardiovascular. So I got fitness goals, and I've obviously got family goals. You know, you got to keep life in balance. And so I love this time of year because of really this word potential. And potential plays a huge role in what Asea is. You know, powering our potential. That's the whole mantra behind this company, to power your potential. And that's kind of got a double meaning to it, because as Dr. Osler could explain, this bottle is full of redox potential. I'm not going to even try the science in front of Dr. Osler, but it's got a double meaning, the potential that we have in our lives, as well as redox potential. So 2023, new year, full of potential. And so what I thought we'd maybe chat a little bit about here tonight is, in some ways, reflections of the past. It's always good to know where we've come from, so maybe we can appreciate even better where we are today, and even where we're going. So reflections on the past, but then also the vision for the future. I have a belief that we haven't even got started in Asea yet. That this business isn't even a scratch on a scratch on a scratch. I often say probably less than 2% of the population even know that this technology exists. And so we've got a lot of work to do. We've got a lot of potential, and we've got a lot of lives to change, both physically and financially, as we go out there and tell the world that this technology exists, and we absolutely can transform lives. So what does the future look like? So to get into the answer of the question, you know, the past, let me tell you just a little bit about my story, and then we can go from there. So I'm originally from Ireland. I am from the famous city of Belfast. I know, Jim, you thought this was an Alabama accent. It's not.
I was shocked. I'm shocked.
I know that people go Alabama, Mississippi, which is it? I go, no, it's a little further east.
I thought it was Ohio, but anyway, go ahead.
It's an easy mistake to make. So originally from Ireland, I've been around the States a long time, so I don't have a very thick Irish brogue. I never really did, to be honest. But I have lived in the States for over 20 years. But I cut my teeth in network marketing and direct sales in 1993. And I was studying a master's in finance. I'd graduated with a degree in finance, hadn't a clue what I wanted to do with my life. So I started a master's in finance. And my first week into that master's, and I was given a little book called The Boom Business of the 90s, a 96-page book. I read it in one night, and it absolutely changed my life. It was what we would call an inflection point. You're never the same afterwards. Your life goes in a different direction. And it was in that moment I said, this is what I want to do this is what I want to do professionally. I want to become a professional at this type of business. So I joined my first company. That company was a nutrition company. And I spent about 6 years with that company. I learned a lot about nutrition, all of what we learned: bioflavonoids, phytonutrients, enzymes, vitamins, minerals, trace minerals, etc. And I began to become really fascinated at how the body heals itself. It became fascinating to me. Like when you cut your finger, how does your blood know how to thicken? How do those skin cells know how to knit back together again in such perfect precision that you can't even see the cut? I mean, it was just astonishing to me. And I really became fascinated with this. Never fascinated me in school. I gave up biology because we weren't getting to the good stuff. It was leaves and frogs, you know? So I gave up biology at a very early age, but all of a sudden now in my 20s, I'm going, okay, this is really interesting. So I fell in love with nutrition and health and healing and all of that great stuff and all sorts of modalities. And I would consider myself an educated layman, okay? I am not fit to tie Dr. Osler's shoelaces, okay? But I'm an educated layman. And so I want to fast forward a little bit to 2009, because this is when my Asea journey started. In 2009, I got a phone call. I can remember where I was. I was in New York City at the time. And my dad called me and gave me an update on a health challenge that he had, that was suspected. And I remember he told me that the doctors wanted him to go on a treatment. And he did that treatment for 3 months. At the end of 3 months, my father ended up, the scans showed no improvement in his situation. He had all the negative side effects of the treatment. And he was also told that he had to continue the treatment, but he would probably end up with permanent lung damage. Very, very toxic treatment. And I remember saying to my dad, look, just tell your doctors you need to take a breather. And I'm going to go find the most powerful technology I can find that can empower your body to do what your body naturally knows what to do. And I think it's really important, guys. Our product is not a treatment or cure for any disease or medical condition. This is simply a resource that your body can use. Your body is the miracle. Your body is the most amazing thing in the world, but we've got to give it the resources that it needs to do its work. And up to that point, the resources I was familiar with were the nutritional resources. I'd become very interested in glutathione, the master antioxidant, the king of all antioxidants. You know, I think of antioxidants like light bulbs. Some are like little flashlights, and others like the giant halogen light in a football field. Well, that's glutathione, you know, massive, powerful antioxidant. I've become very, very interested in that back in 2008, 2009. And so I was thinking along these lines of trying to find something for my dad. And that was my mission. That was my vision. And we talked a little bit about, you know, goals and this year full of potential. I'm a big, big believer in the statement where the focus goes, the energy flows, and what you focus on grows and expands. I'm a big believer in the power of intention. What you focus on, what you draw into your life, what you attract. And in that moment, my full intention was to find the most powerful health technology for my father. I was very,
but you were in the middle of doing a really busy time at your life, right?
Oh, I was not looking for a business, I can tell you that.
No, but you were busy doing your other company that you were starting.
I was building a financial services company with a business partner in Denver, Colorado. And we were fully involved in that. We were building sales offices around the country. I was really putting together the training materials and training people in that industry and building a whole system for that, actually similar to what I do in Asea. That's what I was doing. And yeah, I was working. I mean, if God had invented an 8-day week, I would have been working it. I was working sometimes anywhere up to 16 hours a day, helping put this company together. I will add that I was also the last to get paid. And so I was financially embarrassed at that time, but I just didn't feel I could handle anything else. So I was not in a place looking for a business. My full intention, my full focus was my father. Let me just say at this point, I hope I can say it without getting choked up. The three most influential men in my life are my dad, Vertus Norton, and Tyler Norton. That's the level I put the ownership of this company. Okay.
Wow.
But my dad is a huge influence in my life. Amazing, amazing man. And that was the focus. I wanted to find something that could empower his body to do the best chance at repairing as possible. And again, the power of intention, when you set your mind and you back it with emotion is what stirs the universe into action. And with this laser focus backed by emotion, within 5 days of starting my search, I heard the words redox signaling molecules. Now you have to understand, there was not one website up. There were no PowerPoints. There were no presentations. There was nothing. This was simply, I believe, through one of those chance conversations that we hear so often. Do you know how many times when I'm interviewing people to share their testimonial, they'll say privately to me, hey, do you know I was on my hands and knees praying for a solution? The next day, the phone rang. I cannot tell you how many times I hear that part of the story. Sometimes it's not mentioned on the actual interview. Sometimes it's just said in private to me. But I was fascinated. Now here's the interesting point. I flew out to Salt Lake City. Now, again, I was flat broke. or I prefer to say financially embarrassed. It was a $99 ticket to go from Denver, Colorado to Salt Lake City. I can still remember. I think it was Frontier Airlines. And I had to put it on my wife's credit card. Okay. Newly married, and I'm borrowing my wife's credit card to fly on a $99 ticket. I made that commitment to fly to Salt Lake, not because I understood what redox signaling molecules were. I did it because I hadn't a clue what redox signaling molecules were. And I thought I was a smarty pants in nutrition and health. And yet I'd never heard of these molecules. I'd attended a ton of lectures. I'd read a ton of books. I'd marketed quite a few products up to that point that I thought were cutting edge, but I'd never heard of these redox signaling molecules. And so anyone here where this is new to you, hey, welcome to the club. Never heard of it. And it was my curiosity and intrigue that got me to Salt Lake City. It wasn't knowledge of what this was. It was sheer curiosity, like, what is this product? And back then, we used to talk a lot about these molecules and their ability to fire up glutathione. And I was very familiar with glutathione. And when I heard that this could increase the efficacy of glutathione by 800% and the efficacy of superoxide dismutase by 500%, that got my attention, you know. Then when I started to learn more, and we used to, in the early days, we used to give these, you know, we used to find all sorts of ways to explain this really very complex science that Dr. Osler does so beautifully in his book, Redox Matters. But we used to find ways to take really complex science and break it down into bite-sized chunks that the average person could understand. And we came up with little nicknames of these molecules like antioxidant activators and immune system communicators. You know, we used to try and divide them into groups to try and explain what it is they do. And simple analogies of antioxidants are like light bulbs, and these molecules, the electricity that light up the light bulb. And, you know, you can have all the light bulbs in the world, but if you don't have the power supply, you're still sitting in the dark. You know, and we really tried to convey some of the stuff in very, very simple terms that people could grasp how foundational these molecules were. But to go back to the story, I flew to Salt Lake City, again, mainly out of curiosity and intrigue, but I was absolutely floored. I met the atomic medical physicist that led the team of scientists to crack the code that science had said was impossible, that you could not stabilize these little sparks of life outside the human body. It couldn't be done. And then, of course, I met Vertus Norton, and I sat, you know, 6 feet away from this man. And I remember, big guy, huge hands, you know, big handshake. And I just remember sensing a man so humble, where you know, many here know the story of turning down the pharmaceutical, the payout from the pharmaceutical company because of a handful of people. 135 people. And the reality is it was 6 or 7 of those 135 that he was genuinely concerned about if he took the product away from them. And this is the story that's told in our beautiful 16-minute Genesis video, which I encourage everybody to watch. It's on amazingmolecules.com. It's a super easy place to go find it, the Genesis video. Beautiful, beautiful story of how this company was born. And it really comes down to saying no to the massive payout and yes to a handful of people. And, you know, this rolls off our tongue, you know, people, principles, purpose ahead of a payout. But sometimes we have to stop and pause and reflect on how profound that is. How many companies, you know, there was a book published, I think maybe 10 years ago, maybe less, called The Cheating Culture. And it was about how corporate America truly is driven, and very often a lot of greed and just shortcuts and using people and loving money. And it's just become second nature, not just corporate America, corporate Europe, corporate Asia, corporate Australia. I don't care where you are in the world. It's just become part of our culture of putting the payout ahead of the people, ahead of principles, ahead of a sense of purpose. It's all about the mighty dollar. And don't get me wrong, we're in business. Okay, and a business is there to make profit, or it's not a business, it's a charity. There's a difference. It's the difference between .com and .org. You don't want to get the two confused. But still, you don't want to sacrifice your principles, and you don't want to use people as pawns just to make the dollar, just to make the profit.
Alan, Back then, did you know Mr. Norton's experience? Did you know what world he was a part of and came from?
It was briefly introduced to me. I was familiar with Kraft Foods, and he was the VP of strategy of a $36 billion portfolio at Kraft Foods. What that told me was, well, hold on a second. The biggest network marketing company in the world is Amway at about 11 billion. So this is like 3 times bigger. You know, I thought, wow, this guy can handle some big numbers, you know, big vision. It's interesting. I'm jumping around here a little bit, but
that's okay.
It's interesting that, you know, one of the words that I really associate with Asea is legacy. There are so many companies today that they're just get in, get out, make a few million, get out. Some CEOs are setting up companies right now with literally a 3-year game plan. Either 3-year game plan to cash out, 3-year game plan to sell the company, 3-year game plan, they're gone. You're left holding the baby if you're a distributor in one of those companies. And it's just this very short-sightedness. And what fascinated me here is, and this goes for Chuck Funky, our CEO, it goes for Tyler Norton, Vertus's son, and it goes for Vertus. These people work for companies in their corporate career that were 50, 60, 70, 100, 150 years old. It's impossible for them to think in these small terms of a 3-year run, of a 5-year run, even a 10-year run. For them, a company should be a 100-year run. I remember Tyler Norton saying to me once, Alan, I will not consider this company a success unless your kids are picking up a check from your business. And for that to happen, it means I'm gone. And I hope I've got a few years left. Okay. You know, this is a willable asset. So if I go, my income passes straight to my wife. If we both go, it passes to my kids in trust. Okay. And for him to say, look, a legacy means this income would be passed down in generations. Like what I'm building today, what I've built over 13 and a half years, isn't just for this lifetime. That's how they think. That is so rare. So you've got a couple of really rare dynamics going in here at the corporate level. You've got this ethical, this principle-based concept of putting people ahead of profit, loving people and using money, not the other way around that 99% of the world does, which is loving money and using people. And then to mirror that, you've got a corporate team at the highest levels that just naturally think legacy. 100-year-old companies, 150-year-old companies, not this short-sighted greed that is so rampant in the world today, and certainly in the network marketing business. Let me just be very transparent with everybody. I love the network marketing business model. I think it's one of the most incredible business models in the world when it's done right. The challenge is it's often done wrong. Okay. And I kind of have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with network marketing, my profession. I love the business model, but I don't like all the companies in the business model. I don't like all the players in the business model. And we'll talk about that if we've time at the very, very end about what's going on right now and where we're heading and what you need to really look out for. Be careful of the wolves in sheep's clothing. Okay. So,
hey, Alan, real quick on that, you know, we kind of have the similar background, but I'm an ex-stockbroker. I saw a lot of people get hurt in the stock markets.
yeah.
And so, you know, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. So you got to keep looking like you did.
Yeah. And I'd walked out of the industry. I'd walked out of direct sales for almost 8 years. I went and did other things. That's why I was building the financial services company. And I said, I will not join this beautiful business model again until I can find 2 things. And those 2 things were very, very simple. They were, number one, a unique, exceptional product. Today, I call it a technology. That's what we have. A unique, exceptional product. A story that had never been told before. I call it the solo voice rising above the crowded choir. Okay. The second thing was a company I could trust.
Now, why did you get out 8 years earlier? I know why, but just share real quick. I mean,
you've got the good, bad, and the ugly of everything. Look, there's the good, bad, and ugly of dentists. My dad was a dentist. He was a remarkable dentist, really gifted.
So was mine.
Well, was he really? And
yeah, he was an oral surgeon. Huh?
Yeah,
and Lee's a dentist. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, finally, we've got something in common. So, you know, I also went to a dentist recently that cracked my tooth. Just real clumsy, just awful. You know, there's good dentists, there's bad dentists. There's good car salesmen, there's bad car salesmen. I've even heard rumors there's good lawyers, you know?
Yeah.
And so there's good doctors, there's bad doctors, there's good and bad of everything. We call it the good, bad, and the ugly. And so, Lee, did you have something to say on that lawyer comment?
He's good.
No, I was just going to echo everything you're saying, because, you know, each and every week we go out in the marketplace and we make decisions about eating at restaurants or, you know, viewing movies. And just because we have a bad meal somewhere doesn't mean we vow that we'll never go out and eat again. And I think it's just a height of hypocrisy to judge an entire industry. And many of us are at fault for doing that. But we judge an entire industry and say, well, if this is network marketing, I don't want to have anything to do with it. Yeah. And it's like, that is so short-sighted. And I love that. That's the reason I love this story, because you're recounting, you know, and extolling the virtues of when it is done right. And that is one of the pivotal things that really people have to keep in mind. So go ahead.
No, it's beautiful. When it's done right, it's one of the most beautiful business models in the world. And just to give you a little insight, I'm actually working on a new presentation to really explain what is network marketing, separate from any company. What is network marketing? Because when you get it, it is an astonishing business model when it is done correctly. But the challenge is, of course, it sometimes isn't done right. Greed sets in, people sacrifice principles, shoddy products are brought to the marketplace, et cetera, et cetera. I could go on and on and on. And so I left. So those were my two guiding principles. And I stuck by them. And it was very, very simple. I have to find a company. I have to find a unique technology, a unique product, a life-changing product. I say it, the story that had never been told before, something new, not just the same old, regurgitated with a different label on it. You know, my juice is better than your juice. My ORAC score is higher than your ORAC score. I got tired of that. Do you remember the decade of the juices? There were 82 exotic juice companies in network marketing direct sales in the year 2000 to about 2010. It was like the Juice of the Month Club. Everybody was finding a new berry or fruit in some tropical island somewhere, plucked on a full moon on a Tuesday, you know? And I just got tired of the hype. And I said, no, enough. Enough. I didn't sign up for this. And then the company to trust. And again, when you get back to Asea, you got this incredible integrity, but also this legacy thinking. And that combination of integrity with legacy thinking, and I call that who Asea is. And who Asea is, I want to say it is as unique as what Asea is. People have to understand, whether they're involved in our business or not, if we didn't have the who, you wouldn't have the what. You wouldn't have this product. And this product, if you're going, oh, I don't like that business model, or, you know, I'm not, hey, if it wasn't for this business model and these businessmen, you wouldn't have the life-changing results you're having with this technology.
Exactly.
But what Asea is and the who Asea is, they go hand in hand. My number plate in Texas is Asea. And sometimes I don't know if I'm talking about the product or the company, because I'm passionate about both of them. I wear the shirt, I wear the brand, because I love both who and what. And they have to be together. They can't exist apart. They have to coexist. So look, I met Virtus. I sat down with them. I think I'm a pretty good judge of character. And I just remember sensing this real sincerity from this man. Here's this incredible giant of a man. He's 69 years of age. He's achieved incredible things in corporate America. He's rubbed shoulders with some of the greatest CEOs in corporate America. He's managed almost a $40 billion portfolio. And that's only just touching on his resume. And here he is, humbly talking to me. And you understand, I'm out of the industry for 7-8 years. I'm nobody. I am nobody. And here's this man giving up time. I'm flat broke. I can't even afford a $99 ticket to go visit the company. And yet he's given up a couple of hours of his time to sit there and just tell me the story. I wasn't bringing a team with me. I didn't have a resume. Again, I'm out of the industry 7-8 years. That's a lifetime. And so I just was struck by his humble nature. I was struck by his sincerity. And when he told me that Genesis story, I saw the lip tremble. I saw the eyes well up with tears, and I go, this is the real deal. And I made a decision to join him on this venture before I'd even had my first taste of Asea. I think people get, and I'm going to just talk entrepreneur here. I'm talking to the entrepreneurs, okay? I think sometimes I call it the testimonial trap. It's a big, big mistake to make an entrepreneurial decision based on your own personal testimonial. That's a rookie mistake. That's a real rookie mistake. Because at the end of the day, like I'm pretty healthy, okay? I think I'm actually very healthy. I've taken care of my health since I was 22, 23 years of age when I first stepped into this industry and discovered the power of nutrition. And I don't have an amazing story. On Real Redox Results, you don't see me interviewing myself, telling my story. I don't really have a story. But it hasn't stopped me building a really, really successful business and impacting tens of thousands of lives around the world. My wife has an amazing story. My dad, I'll tell you the rest of his story, had an amazing story. Started shipping the product home to my dad. 4 months later, my father was given a clean bill of health. Wow. I had my dad for another 8 years after that, 7 of those years in remarkable health. If I showed you a picture, hold tight 1 second. There's my beautiful father.
Aw, that's awesome.
82 years of age.
Wonderful.
There, he's 82.
He got sick at 76. That's him at 82.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a good-looking man.
Wonderful.
Unfortunately, I didn't get his hair gene.
Well, I would say, what happened to you?
He got
Skips
his
a
mother's
generation.
mother's dad's hair. He got.
Skips a generation. But yeah, you know, so
Your tan makes you look great, Alan.
Thank
just
you.
to let you know. You bet.
Thank you. So
Jim's a tan man.
So look, if I had made a decision, if I had made an entrepreneurial decision based on my own personal testimony, what this product did for me, then my wife wouldn't have had her 24-hour experience where her discomfort in her body that was left over from the birth of my first daughter that she'd had for 10 months after that birth, where she was in an agony in her lower back and hips and down her leg. The simplest activities of being a new mom were causing her constant discomfort. If I'd kind of bet, well, I don't know if I feel anything. Well, my wife, in 24 hours of drinking Asea, my wife, 0 discomfort. Wow. 48 hours, she's back in the gym again, working out since the first time in over a year.
That's
and
great.
she's been that way now 13 and a half years later. Okay. I could go into my daughter's story. I don't talk about my other daughter, my youngest daughter, but had a very bad reaction to a mandatory vaccine that we had to take in order for me to get the green card and ultimately my American citizenship. And head to toe, blisters and rashes. And it's another story. I don't get into it that often. It's a very personal story, but Asea Redox played a huge role in helping detox her body, a huge role in helping carry those heavy metals out of the body. And, you know, so this product has touched 3 generations of people that I love and care about. My dad, my wife, my daughter. 3 generations of people that you can't get more love for. What if I'd made this decision based on my own selfish testimony? What's it doing for me? Well, I'll see what it does for me, and then I might tell people about it. See, guys, you're thinking like a customer. You're not thinking like an entrepreneur. I often use the example, and please understand me here. Don't take this out of context. I'm not making any medical claims for Asea, but let me just pretend, take Asea out of the picture. Let me just say to you, Jim, listen, I've been working with a team of scientists, and I think we've cracked a cure for cancer. Okay, there's nothing to do with Asea. Okay,
right.
Let me cover the badge. Okay, I think we've been working with a team of science. I think we've cracked the cure for cancer, and it's heavily patented, trade secrets, patents, everything else. I want you to come on board with me, and we're going to go take this to the world. We're going to change lives around the world. Are you going to say to me, Jim, well, hold on a sec. Let me go get cancer and see what it does for me?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. And yet that's how people think here. when they, and again, I'm not making any references to
Right.
Asea and the big C, but that's how people, oh, let me see what it does for me. They're missing the entrepreneurial opportunity. I had a naturopath once say to me in Denver, Colorado, hey, I think you're just all about the business. They come to the presentation. They said, hey, I liked your presentation. I think your product has some real merit, but I think you're just all about the business. Thought I was like some crazy capitalist, you know? And I said, okay, well, let me ask you a question. I'm glad you like the product. How many people do you think you could impact? Maybe how many lives do you think you could impact? Maybe sharing this product with people. And he says, well, I have pretty good practice. I could probably, you know, impact a couple of hundred people with this product. And I said, well, that's great. Those are 200 people that are going to thank you for impacting their lives. But because I embraced the business and I made a point to go out there and build teams to tell other people that this technology exists, I've impacted tens of thousands of people around the world.
Wow.
Now, I didn't say this to him then, but who's the bigger force for good in the world?
Right.
Exactly.
So I view this business as just like money as a magnifying glass of the soul. Money makes you more of who you already are. You know, if you're greedy, you become more greedy. If you're kind, you can become kinder. You can do more. And so where money is a magnifying glass of the soul, this business allows us to magnify our footprint in the world. It allows us the power of leverage. It allows us the power to act beyond our own singular efforts. And if we're doing good, guess what? We can magnify that good by embracing this business model. So, you know, if you think about it, it's all about bringing value to the marketplace. Who's bringing the most value to the marketplace? And anyway, where are we in the story?
Well, your comment segues kind of into what I was thinking before we came on. You know, I'm thinking about people that are new to considering Asea. Maybe they just started, or maybe they're not even in yet. And as an entrepreneur, I mean, we have not only an excellent product that Jim and I've used in June, it'll be 8 years, but we have this wonderful career opportunity. And so, you know, in the beginning, I believe you started, didn't you? The sizzle call. I mean, we have all these tools. When we came in, it was the charge up call. And of course, your site is, we always use your site. There's not a day we don't promote your site. And so I was thinking about that site and how much, I mean, somebody could start today and go to amazingmolecules.com training and go right into the cycle of success and MTR. Maybe you could talk a little bit about that, because if somebody's weighing out this business, they get a lot of support. I mean, we get a lot of support. We have great upline. And I just want to assure people that when you come in this business, at least with Asea, maybe other companies don't do that, but you are not out alone. You have this great support and you have this great training that you've really developed into something amazing. So maybe you could tip on your site and MTR and cycle of success for somebody new.
Yeah, well, look, I remember when we started, I started with a 3-minute sizzle call that I had recorded on an 800 number. And I can still remember the number, but it's not there anymore, so there's no point giving it out. There's a little 3-minute sizzle call. And then I hosted a conference call every Tuesday. And I remember the very first vision call. It was called the vision call. I did it on a Tuesday night. I remember the very first one. And I hadn't been in the business that long. I was probably a bronze, I think, or I might have been a director 700 when I was just getting started, but nobody was doing anything. I thought, I got to find a way to talk to more people in one go. You know, I can't just do one at a time. I got to do something. And so, and I still remember the very first vision call. It was 5 minutes before the top of the hour. And I truthfully still didn't know what I was going to say. But I tell you, there is magic in deadlines. And I had decided, rather than saying, hey, you know what? I think I'll do a call when I'm ready. You'll never be ready. So what I did is said, okay, this Tuesday at this time, we're going to do a live Discover Asea, although I called it a live Asea vision call. And I'm going to get on, I'm going to share the vision of Asea, what it is and what we're doing and where we're going. and I didn't have a clue what it, but I'd set a deadline. And when you set a deadline for yourself, even 5 minutes before the call, I still didn't quite know what I was going to say on that call. But you know what? It hit the top of the hour and we said, hi, welcome to Vision Call, the Asea Vision Call, the very first Vision Call. Tell us where you're calling in from. State your name, where you're calling in from. That saved me about 2 or 3 minutes as people tell me where they're dialing in from. And I'm still, we just got started, and I just started telling the story, and it started to build, and we started to learn how to tell the story. But there's tremendous power in deadlines. Again, if I had waited till I was ready, I would never have been ready. I would never have done it. But you set the deadline, and I'm telling you, magic happens, you know? So that was the beginning of that. Then here's something interesting. Today, we take so much for granted. But even a decade ago, to have MP4 files, video files, YouTube files, Vimeo files, you know, that are so easy to access on these little gadgets, you know, in our pocket, and all of the information that at our fingertips. The early presentations I did in Asea, I had to code them in Flash because the internet couldn't handle the bandwidth of the MP4 files. It couldn't handle the size of the video files. So I had to code everything in Flash, which was a much more compressed file. It didn't require as much bandwidth, and they could actually play. And so, you know, I forget about these things, but some of the early challenges that we had back then, today we take this technology for granted. It's just our fingertips. Zoom, you know, if one good thing came out of COVID is everybody learned how to get on Zoom. Now we don't have to explain it. Before it was like, okay, we're doing Zoom. Here's what Zoom is. Here's what you have to do. You got to go download. Now, if you've got a kid at school, every parent has Zoom on their computer, on their phone. And so, you know, even today in 2023, compared to even 2019, 2018, this shift in technology and what we're able to do. So an opportunity like Asea, where we're able to take a really important message the world deserves to know about. That we're not pushing something unnecessary. This is a message the world deserves to know about. And we have an ability now with technology to get this message out there better than ever before, ever before. And sometimes we just take it for granted, you know. Maybe just talking about that, I said we have a technology that the world deserves to know about. I believe we have a business the world deserves to know about. And if I may just be a little bit of a party pooper right now, let me maybe just suggest something. So I see Rotary Club has just said, is this really live? Yes, it is live. Hello. So if I can just maybe say where we are right now. The finance guy in me has been looking at various stats and things like that. And back towards the end of last year, in the fourth quarter of last year, I started reading more and more financial reports and seeing more headlines that were deeply concerning. I'm going to give you just a snapshot of some of them. There was a Lending Tree poll. 43% of consumers are expected to take on new debt in the next 6 months. There was Dr. Doom, his name is Rubini, who predicted the 2008 recession. Said that 2023, the recession is going to be, it's not going to be short, it's not going to be shallow. It's going to be severe, long, and ugly. Morgan Stanley chief US equity strategist, Michael Wilson, basically said the coming recession will be worse than a normal recession. I could go on and on. Inflation's all-time high in Germany. This isn't just the United States, this is a worldwide. But here's the one I want you to remember. The Federal Reserve said that US household debt hit a record 16.2 trillion. Now, this is not the debt of the guys in Washington, you know, they've never had a job in their life, but like spending your money, okay? This is our debt. This is your mortgage. This is your credit card statements. These are your bank loans. This is household debt, not government debt. 16.2 trillion. That exceeds the levels at the height of the 2008 mortgage crash. Okay, let me give you one more stat from this. They went on to say, still from the Federal Reserve, credit card balances saw their largest year-over-year percentage increase in more than 20 years. People are borrowing more money than ever before to keep their head above water. I was back home visiting my mom in Ireland just before Thanksgiving. And I went home and all over the news, all over the BBC, it was about living standards. It was about the cost of living. It was about inflation. It was about job security. They were saying that the living standards was back to 1950. Okay, so this is a global issue, guys. And I have a belief, just as the world deserves to know our technology exists, they deserve to know this business opportunity exists. And I'm very, very passionate going into 2023, helping as many people as possible make that extra $1,000 a month. You know, we got 4 people in this company that have earned over $10 million cumulative earnings. We now have 41 or 42, I keep losing track, of people that earned over $1 million cumulative earnings. I'm not getting
may I state that we have one of them here as far as one of the $10 million club members.
Yay.
Well, congratulations, Dr. Leo.
Alan Noble.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
But Alan, I say that because you're speaking from real live experience and you're still in the game.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, that's because we haven't even got started. You know, we're just warming up the engines. It takes time for legacy companies to warm up the engines. The fly-by-night companies can warm up in a week, but the big companies, it takes a little bit longer. You know, it's like the old oil tanker, the big steam train. You know, it takes a little bit of time to get it going, but you'll not get it stopped. Okay. So this I believe, and I have a passion for helping as many people as possible make that $1,000 a month. Okay. I call it the 1,000 Air program. And I'm going to be introducing something here coming up in a few weeks that really deals with this. But that $1,000 a month is going to allow the average person to keep their head above water as we go through these very turbulent times. These tough times could last 12 months, 18 months, 24 months. It's not going to be short. Okay. And it's going to be bad. And I've warned you, if you're hearing my voice right now and you don't do anything about it, that's on you. You got to take full responsibility for it. Okay, we're all adults. And we live in the United States, in the richest country in the history of the world. There's so much opportunity all around us. I believe Asea is one of the finest opportunities, but there's all sorts of opportunity out there. But by the time you need a plan B, it's too late. Right. Yeah. You got to work on your plan B. Now, why do I drink Asea? If I don't really feel anything, if I don't have an amazing testimonial, why do I drink this product? Well, because I want to stay healthy.
Maintenance, yeah.
Maintenance. Why do you get your oil changed? Does your car break down and then you go, I better change my oil? I better put some water in the radiator? Do I better put some gas in the tank when it runs out? No, you don't let it hit rock bottom. You keep it maintained. This is my maintenance program. This is what keeps me young, healthy, and beautiful, you know?
That's right.
But so I think I drank too much mood.
You went too far there, buddy.
Too much mind and mood today. I'm in a happy, focused mood, you know? So
hey, real quick, we got like 10 minutes left. Talk about the future. Talk about, okay, you went and you kind of did a Virtus Norton on us. We talked about that earlier, talking about the mega trends. It's not pretty. Give us the hope, Alan. Where's the hope of tomorrow, today?
And it can happen with Asea. So,
well, obviously, yeah.
That is the hope. I mean, you've got to find something, guys. You've got to find your plan B. Look, for most people, Asea is not going to be their plan A. Now, I had enough experience and some early success in network marketing to know the possibilities. I'd rubbed shoulders with $1 million earners. The first company I was in, their top earners made over $100 million in this industry. You know, I got some really good training in the early days, so I understood the potential of this business. I just couldn't find the right company to join, the right product to bring to the marketplace. I often say it's figuring out you like girls, but you can't find the one you want to say till death do us part. And sometimes you have to kiss a few frogs to find your princess. Okay, well, I was tired of kissing frogs, so I took a break. So the point is, this business model is the finest business model to allow the average person to achieve above average success.
Right.
There is no better business model where you can get in with very, very little upfront cost, where your main costs are products that you're investing into your own health.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You've got unlimited support, unlimited training, people who are right there with you, who are cheering you on. Again, in a culture where very often it's a backstabbing culture where I can only get ahead if I stand on you in the corporate world. Today, it doesn't work like that. The only way I can get ahead is if I pull you up with me. Part of our compensation plan actually pays us on the success of our team. It pays us a percentage of income earned by our team. If our teams aren't earning income, that part of the comp plan is a big fat zero. And so it's this beautiful business model that your success comes from helping other people become successful. Where else do you see that? Where else are you not afraid of your competition? Because the better your team is, the better everybody is. You know, when we get presented, I appreciate you recognizing the $10 million in earnings, because that's a collective effort. I can't do that by myself. Can't do it by myself. It's a collective effort. And so the hope is find something, and this is my warning, find something of true value to the marketplace. Let me tell you what's going on in the industry right now. People are looking for opportunity, but they don't know how to evaluate an opportunity. They're hungry to earn additional income. As I said, you don't have to become a millionaire. It can be $1,000 a month represents a 10 to 20% pay raise for the average family in America. More in Europe, okay? But the average family in America is 10 to 20% pay raise. That's going to be enough to keep your head above water. That's going to be enough for you to weather this storm. That might be enough for you to keep your house, keep the roof over your head. You know, the number one reason for divorce in this world is stress. The number one type of stress is financial stress.
Yeah.
And so that $1,000 a month can be priceless to a family. And we've got a very real opportunity bringing something of real value, real substance, real life-changing benefits to the marketplace. And here's my warning. If you're new to the entrepreneurial world, there are a lot of deals out there that are masquerading as network marketing companies in the crypto space. MLM and crypto are not a good marriage. Network marketing and a commodity is not a good marriage. Network marketing and a currency is not a good marriage. Okay? Network marketing and an investment is not a good marriage. What is a good marriage for a legacy business is a product, an actual product. And what you've got to ask yourself,
Consumable product.
Yep.
and a consumable product that creates then an ongoing residual income.
Right.
Because I can be in the beach in Mexico, and Ann and Jim and Dr. Osler, you're still consuming your product and you're still reordering the product. And so I can do the work once, but get paid over and over and over and over again. So I don't have to be there for your consumption just the first time. Do the work once, but get paid many, 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 many times. The power of residual income. We could do a whole conversation on the power of residual income. But guys, here's the litmus test. Do I have a legitimate product? Or do I have a legitimate business? And that question is, the answer is my product legitimate? Am I bringing real value to the marketplace? Or is it just some smoke and mirrors crypto scam scheme, shuffling money around? Am I really bringing value to the marketplace? Am I impacting somebody's life with the product or service that I'm offering them? Is there real value? Here's the real million-dollar question. Would I buy or use this service or product if there was no opportunity attached? Would I buy this product or use this service if there was no entrepreneurial opportunity attached? And I'm telling you, every one of those investment deals, those crypto scams, those currencies, they all fall apart.
Yeah.
They all fall apart. They're all a robbing Peter to pay Paul. So be very, very careful out there. Don't, it's fool's gold. You've got to be bringing, the basic entrepreneurial concept is you've got to be bringing value to the marketplace. And I don't know another company that has the level of value that we have. This product is so foundational in people's lives. I use this idea of a house, and we're familiar with the bricks and the mortar and the window and the cement and the wood and everything that we need to build that house. Same thing in our bodies. We need the vitamins, the minerals. We need all those things, the nutrition to build the house. But what does the house sit on? It sits on a foundation. And here in Dallas, we've terrible foundations. What's it like in San Antonio?
Good here where we are.
Well,
some are not.
Dallas is terrible, you know.
Yeah, we sit on a black block of rock, so we're good.
we sit on clay that expands and shrinks, and it's just a disaster. So foundations are critical. Foundations are super important. This is the foundation. This is why it's the missing link. No other company in the world can offer this foundational piece. We have the only cell signaling technology in the world, 7 patents, 200 trade secrets. Nobody in the world has what we have. So people can build houses all day long with their nutrition, their vitamins, their minerals, their other things. But that house better be sitting on a firm foundation. Your body better be sitting on a firm foundation, and that foundation is signaling. I love it what Dr. Osler says. It's where energy meets matter.
Yeah.
You're like a poet. I love it. Where energy meets matter. It's an astonishing technology. So we're bringing the most powerful, the most value. I often say the commission that we earn in Asea, the dollars that we earn in Asea are some of the most valuable dollars that we will ever earn, because they represent lives changed.
Yeah.
And your commission check, the size of your commission check here, is a direct reflection of lives that you've touched and changed. And so that's the litmus test for an opportunity in the network marketing industry, and probably other businesses as well. Am I bringing real value to the marketplace? And if the answer is no, run.
Yeah.
Run. Okay. But we've got it here. We've got everything that we need to build an incredible legacy business. We've got the integrity. We've got the products. We've got the legacy thinking. I'm going to add one other thing about where we're going right now. I have a pretty good bird's eye view of the business. I know many of the top leaders in the company. I know what's going on in their organizations. I have private one-on-one conversations with many. There are top leaders in the industry of network marketing that are in the process of taking very, very serious look at Asea. There are others that have already made the commitment to join Asea. You're going to see a lot of good leaders come into this company this year. It's already happening. I don't want to expose anybody or share names without their permission, but I had some conversations today. It's happening. It's happening all over the world. Very, very experienced entrepreneurs are looking at Asea and going, that's what I've been looking for my entire career. And I'm telling you, 2023 is going to be an epic year for this company. It's going to be a massive year for this company. Could I retire? Yes, I could retire. But why on earth would I miss the party? Why would I miss the party? Our best years are ahead of us. And I'm telling you, this year is going to be a fascinating year. I think, 2019 was great. 2020, COVID hit. I think the buzz, the excitement, I mean, I look at actually, I don't mean to say it's a positive thing, but from a business point of view, we learned how to really use Zoom. We learned how to connect digitally around the world. We were doing Zooms all the time. People felt connected like that. 2021, we kind of continued that. I think 2022, honestly, if I'm just very transparent, I think people got tired. I think 2022, I'm not just talking in Asea, I'm talking globally. Right. I don't know if anybody else sensed it, but it was just a sense of real weariness in 2022. It's like they'd had enough. And then you add the inflation, then you add the looming recession. Amazon just cut 18,000 jobs.
Wow.
That was just announced today. You start to see this stuff, and I just think the dark clouds begin to form. I see 2023 as a company where we break out of that. People are ready to start really achieving their potential. Gets back to where we started. It's really that stepping in to your full potential. overcoming challenges, living life to the max. The conversations I'm having with people, they're so ready to run this year. So it's going to be an amazing, amazing year for us. It's going to be an amazing year for anybody that links arms with us and helps us take this message to the world. I say my noble purpose is very clear. It's to transform lives physically, but also financially, harnessing the power of this incredible technology and this company and opportunity. And I am so grateful. Gosh, I cannot think what I might be doing or where my life might be if I had not stumbled on this company 13 and a half years ago. It almost scares me to think, because it has been the most fulfilling, enriching, life-changing experience of my life. It's just been incredible. And
we're thankful.
If you're not joining the party, you don't know what you're missing. It's an amazing place to be. So,
right.
Well, Alan, with where I was 7.5 years ago, addicted to pain meds and taking 500 pills a month, I don't think I would be here. And I just want everybody to reiterate, if it wasn't because of you and other Trish and Denny and Terry Latham and all these, and then you got guys like Jerry Yerke, coming on board, and those are the kind of people you're talking about. But, we're so blessed, Alan, that this was our first dance. This was our first company. But a lot of people out there
you didn't kiss the frogs.
I didn't kiss any frogs.
You find your princess first date.
Exactly. And that doesn't happen very often, but those people out there that have been, we don't have anybody after our show, but those people that have been wounded in an industry and they've been hurt, or what might you say to someone? Because amazingmoleculestraining.com, can we give it the password?
It's already been on the chat.
Real Redox results.
Okay, so no, the Amazing Molecules Training, but what would you say to someone, Alan? There's a lot of people new. There'll be a lot of people listening to this call. Again, you can go to amazingmoleculestraining.com, password's capital A associate, and you can get some of the phrases.
There's no password on that one.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. But what would you say to someone brand new? If they're just starting today, how do they go out and talk to people?
So the first thing I would say, number one, look, here's the ingredients. You got to have a burning desire. You've got to want more for your life. Okay, you got to have some fuel in the tank, and the fuel is your desire. Now, I was in a place where my back was to the wall. I can't tell you my full story. It would take too long, but I'd been chasing the American dream for a very long time. And I was in a place where financially, I was about to not validate my visa financially because I wasn't getting paid what I was supposed to be getting paid. And the American dream was about to slip away from me. And so my back was to the wall. I had a year to make a 6-figure income or I was gone.
Wow.
Okay, now you don't have to go that extreme, okay? But you've got to find something that lights your fire. You've got to find that spark that can light the fuel of desire. You've got to find it, okay? The second thing you've got to get is belief. Belief in yourself. You got to get some belief in this industry. That's why I'm going to create this new video about what is network marketing, to put some of the rumors to rest, really understand from a business point of view what this business model is. Don't trust your Uncle Bob, who had a bad experience in Amway in 1956 and hasn't got over it yet, okay? So what is it? So get belief in this, get belief in the product. How do we get belief in the product? You can do it one of 3 ways. Your own personal experience, the experience of others, or the science. Hey, if it's the science, go to redoxmatters.com. Get Dr. Osler's book, absolutely fantastic. Okay, that you will be a believer after reading his book on the power of these molecules. But I personally believe that the other people's experiences even out-trump your own. Because even if you have an amazing experience with this technology, you might go, well, maybe it's just me. Maybe I got just some really unique DNA. Maybe I got lucky. Doesn't mean it's going to work for anybody else. Or maybe, hey, it was my sore knees better, but what's it going to do for someone else? And so I believe the best way to really drive and develop the anchor, the root of belief in your business, is get exposed to as many testimonials as you possibly can. And that's why we created redoxresults.com, to expose you to as many stories. And by the way, those are diluted down. Anyone that I've interviewed on that, they know I've had to cut pieces out. So here's a company, we're not exaggerating stories, we're actually diluting them so that we can actually share them, okay?
Right.
There's often a lot more behind the story than we can even share on those calls. But you start to go through those calls, there's probably by the end of this month, there'll be 120 videos on there.
Great.
Okay, help me with the math. Take 4 a day for the next 30 days. I guarantee you, you will have unshakable belief in what this technology can do for humanity.
Real quick on that, Alan, and it's not just one testimonial. There's like 5 to 10 testimonials per video. So you've got over 500 testimonials in 120 testimonials. I mean, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So and thank you for giving us that, by the way, all of this actually. But go ahead. You said 1, 2. What's number 3?
Oh yeah. So number 1, have burning.
Wait a minute.
Number 4 is what happened to number 3. So you got to get some desire. You got to get your belief. And I believe belief in the product is going to come from the stories of others. Or if you're science oriented at redoxmatters.com, don't rely on your own personal testimonials. That's not an entrepreneurial option. Okay. That's a customer option. It's not an entrepreneurial option. And then the next thing is get connected. Get connected. You got to get connected. This is, we've all heard the saying, team, together, everyone achieves more.
Right.
But Rambo, the lone warrior, stands for rarely achieve much by oneself.
That's right.
This is not a lone sport. This is a team sport. You cannot build this business successfully by yourself. And there is so much help. There's so much encouragement. There's so much motivation and inspiration that is freely available to you that you can literally sunbathe in. You can saturate yourself in. And guys, that's in short supply. Finding people that believe in you, finding people that are cheering you on to the finish line. It's another whole dynamic, the psychology of this business that you don't get in corporate America. This beautiful part of this business where it's this helping up, helping other people succeed. And so get connected. Don't be a lone ranger. Get connected. Find out what your upline's doing. Do they have WhatsApp groups? Do they have Facebook groups? Do they have team calls? Get connected. Get on the training. I like the training, amazingmoleculestraining.com. I'm biased, but that's the training side I use. Learn some simple skills. And then here's the real kicker. Learn something simple like, listen, Jim, I've recently stumbled on an astonishing health technology that is absolutely transforming lives. And I really believe this is a technology the world deserves to know about. If I sent you a short 7-minute video, would you check it out?
You had me at hello.
Now, if we can memorize the Lord's Prayer, if we can memorize the national anthem, if we can memorize the Pledge of Allegiance, and if we can memorize the first verse of Danny Boy, then I'm pretty sure we can memorize that little script.
Okay, say it one more time.
Sorry, I was just thinking of my next script, which was a business script. Now I've got to go back to the product script. Hey, Jim, I just started working with a remarkable health technology that is absolutely transforming people's lives. And I've come to the belief that I believe that the world deserves to know that this technology exists. What you do with it is totally up to you. But if I sent you a short 7-minute video, would you check it out?
And that's Real Redox Results.
I would send it to realredoxresults.com.
Okay.
Watch that video. The business, hey,
Yes, sir.
we're in a place. I'm working with a team of global entrepreneurs that are on a mission to create as many thousandaires as possible in the next 6 to 12 months. That's helping as many people as possible earn an additional $1,000 a month, because we believe that's about a 10 to 20% pay raise for the average family. That's going to help them keep their head above water as we go through this recession. Does that sound like something you might like to know more about?
Powerful.
How are we doing that? We're bringing to the marketplace one of the most powerful technologies the world's ever seen. That's absolutely transforming people's lives. If I sent you a short video, would you check it out? The point here is, guys, and these scripts and phrases, that $1,000 a month, I'm building that into the scripts and phrases. I'll be updating that document on Amazing Molecules Training. But The point is, guys, if you can learn a simple business approach and you can learn a simple product approach and you're not emotionally attached to the outcome, you don't care whether people say yes or no. Indifference makes the difference. Care less, but don't be careless. Okay? You've got to have some emotional attachment. It's not about you. It's about whether, here's what I've learned. Sorry, you're getting me into training mode. We could go another hour here. Okay. You're turning on the training button on me. So here's what I'll tell you. When you put the message of Asea in front of the right people, they get it. And if people aren't getting it, it's because they're not the right people. Your job's not to get everybody. Your job's to find the right people. And I will say this over and over and over again. When you put the Asea message in front of the right people, they get it. I've proven it over and over and over again. And sometimes people are just trying way too hard with the wrong people.
Yeah.
The biggest mistake people make in our business, they spend way too much time with the wrong people. Move on. Move on. And so, but here's the key. The beautiful thing about this industry is you don't have to be the expert. Did I say, hey, if I sit down with you in a coffee shop and take an hour to explain the science of redox signaling and the compensation plan? No, I said, hey, if I sent you a short 7-minute video, would you take a look at it? We are simply the messenger. We're not the message. We are in a business. I talked earlier about technology at our fingertips. If you can text somebody a video, if you can WhatsApp somebody a link, if you can email somebody a website, you can build this business around the world. And we have global possibilities. Why is global income so cool? Because it's 24/7 income. Business never sleeps. My friend Warda here from Malaysia is on here. I'm going to go to bed in a couple of hours. And Warda's what time is it there? It's 11:15 in Malaysia in the morning. They're just getting their Saturday started, sharing the product, sharing the dream. And so a 24/7 income is a global income. It's a powerful thing. We bring these 3 types of income to the business: leveraged income, the ability to earn beyond ourselves; residual income, the ability to earn over and over again; and global income, the ability to earn 24/7 while we sleep. Show me any other business model that can offer the average person that, especially somebody who was broke and couldn't afford a $99 ticket.
Right.
It's astonishing. People have no idea what they got their hands on. It's absolutely astonishing. But I promise you, when you put this message in front of the right people, they get it. And we do that by being the messenger, not the message. This is the only business I know of in the world where you can become a multi-millionaire and never be the expert, ever. Think about it. Dentistry, you hope your dentist's an expert. Pilot. Well, the pilot came on the little tannoy and goes, okay, guys, this is my first flight, but I got the manual open. We should be good. I've got air traffic control. If I run into any problems, they can help me. I'll do a 3-way call with air traffic control if there's anything I don't understand. No, you want your pilot to be the expert. Yeah. Your mortgage, your real estate agent, they know the area, they know the school, they know the price per square foot. They're the expert. Show me any industry in the world where you can make a fortune without being the expert. Guys, this is the business. You don't have to be the expert. You can be as dumb as a rock. If you can push play, if you can send a video, if you can send a link, if you can learn a simple script. And there's no magic in that script. It's just when you put that script in front of the right people, they get it. They say, yeah, I want to know more. Yeah, I have an interest in health. Yeah, I have an interest in earning additional income. What do you got? Great. If I sent you a short video, would you take a look at it? That is how simple our business is. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful in its simplicity. So you got me started into training. I apologize.
Wow.
We needed awesome. That, Alan. We needed the shot in the arm. 2023, which is what we started this with. I'll just say that, there's a bit of translation here because there's a lot of people who are already employed. And what we're really talking about for the mass of people listening to this are side hustles. Yeah, it isn't about doing what you did, where it jump right out of the bag becomes your main occupation. This is a side hustle thing, and I like that Thousandaire thing because what people don't realize is $1,000 a month is the same thing as having about $250,000 in the bank earning 5% interest. And so the question I put out there is, starting now, doing what you're doing right now, how long would it take for you to accumulate an additional $250,000 after it's gone through your taxation and your overhead filter, to wind up with $250,000 that would then generate a $1,000 a month income, assuming 5% and assuming there's no market contractions.
Yep.
That's a really powerful thing to get your head around, because I don't think there's anybody listening to this call, certainly I would say 99% of the people who doing what they're doing right now could in 12 months put away an additional $250,000 of net money, where and even in a 5 or 6 or 4% interest, bearing account, could do the same thing. And so this is why this is so powerful to me. And because as you said, you can't do this in any other way. You're leveraging the efforts of other people. This is generational or vertical leverage, and it doesn't require time to do that. You don't have to spend 30 years for this to compound before it begins to kick out any kind of, of income stream. So I appreciate your shot in the arm. This has been wonderful.
Well, your example's right. It's like you've seen my new presentation, which I haven't released yet. Because when I show $1,000 a month, I say, this is the equivalent of building $250,000 asset. That is what you've achieved with that level of income. And I think, sometimes in our industry, we get a little carried away with the 6 figures, the 7 figures, into the 8 figures. And yes, they're possible. People achieve them. Absolutely. But for the masses, it is that side hustle. It's that, where else are they going to get that 10 to 20% pay raise to keep their head above water as we go through some very, very turbulent times? And make no mistake, we're in turbulent times and it's going to get worse. Yeah. All of the experts are saying it. And if you dig your head in the sand, it's not going to help you. I'll tell you one last thing. Okay. I'm going to go on record as the longest Asea 5 in the history of Asea 5. But
we love it. Thank you.
I read a great quote today, and it says, when the tide goes out, you see who's swimming naked. I'd never heard that. Has anyone heard that saying before?
I heard it earlier from somebody.
I told you earlier, that's right. When the tide goes out, you see who's swimming naked, guys. We the tide's going out. The last couple of years have been really, really tough financial years on a lot of companies. A lot of companies have gone out of business. A lot of businesses have been shut down. And in our industry, there's one company that's just published numbers. They're 40 million in debt. Another company, huge company, is looking they're filing bankruptcy. There's other mergers going on as companies try and keep their head above water. Guys, Asea is in a very, very healthy state. And so when the tide goes out, we got a beautiful swimsuit on with an Asea logo. We ain't naked, okay? Because we are bringing something of real value. What I mean by that is when the tide goes out, when times get tough, you really see who's bringing real value to the business, who's got a real business, and who's just built it on hype and smoke and mirrors. Because when the tide goes out, when times get tough, the hype, the smoke, and the mirrors all start to fall apart.
But Alan and Jim, the thing is with that tide thing is that the opposite is when is a rising tide raises all boats. And if we look at this tide going out as a market trend, that means there's more people looking for this opportunity.
Yeah.
And so this is about it's like it's the opposite side of that paradigm shift. When this happens, everybody goes back to zero. There is no unfair advantage anymore because all the other competition goes away. You're starting at zero, and you've got the market trend as people looking for this. So why not get in front of that?
And that's it. And that's why we've got really established leaders looking at Asea. They're looking at all these other companies out there and go, hold on a second. They weren't what they said they were. They're 40 million in debt. They're filing bankruptcy. They're looking for a merger to try and keep their business above board. And this is where I'm so grateful that with the wisdom of Vertus Norton, Tyler Norton, Chuck Funky, Scott Aldred, Dave Wall, who's not mentioned enough, who's our CFO, our Chief Financial Officer, and Jörg Husch, our Chief Revenue Officer. These are really good men that they're steering the ship right, and so when the tide goes out, when the times get tough, guys, we're good, we're strong, we're in a really strong place. And transparency is a very important word to me. Transparency and freedom are probably my two most important words that I try and live my life by. And I truly believe that this year is going to be an amazing year for our company. And I don't like to see other companies struggle. I'm not celebrating their demise. I'm not celebrating their challenges by any means, because I live in a world of abundance where there's enough for everybody. I don't need a company to go out of business for me to be successful. Okay, I don't like seeing that. But I'll tell you guys, where I am seeing a lot of companies struggling, we are so healthy. We are so vibrant. And we are poised for an amazing, amazing year. So just to finally wrap this up for you, my apologies.
No apologies needed.
No, it's
Potential,
wonderful.
guys. If you're looking for a place to fulfill your full potential as a human being, to do some good in the world, to bring some value to the world and get rewarded for that, and grow and overcome challenges with like-minded entrepreneurs, like-minded people who are there to support you, guide you, encourage you, mentor you. There's no better place to do it here than Asea. And this is the time, right now. And I will say I'm working on a few little tools behind the scenes that are going to help make your job a whole lot easier as we move into 2023. So stay tuned for that.
That's super.
So guys, Alan Noble, this has been one of the best,
The longest,
ever, frankly.
the longest.
No, it's wonderful.
And the best.
Well needed,
so
too.
we needed this. We
It's
needed this to
needed.
get off to a 2023.
Yeah.
I do want to put out there, it is January, whatever the date is,
6.
6th. We are going to be in San Antonio, Texas, where we're going to have an Asea Impact meeting. Alan Noble is going to give us 2 presentations, one Friday evening with Jorg, and then also on Saturday. There will also be an Asea Impact in North Carolina in February. Then in March, there'll be another one in Spokane.
Early March.
If you want to meet the people, come to these meetings. We still have about 50 tickets on sale for San Antonio next Friday and Saturday. Please get back to the person that got you on this call. If you're anywhere near this area, get to these meetings, see and meet the people. It will blow you away. Alan Noble, thank you.
We appreciate you.
Appreciate you so much.
Well, thank
Awesome.
you to the Asea 5 crew here. Thank you to Dr. Osler and Jim and Ann and Maureen, who can't be here, but really appreciate what you do for everybody, putting this on, and the guests that you have here, helping share all sorts of different sides and perspectives and dimensions of the Asea story. So really grateful for everything you do here every single Friday. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And Lee Osler will have Carolyn Hoffman, excuse me, and then also Dr. Ray Dixon will be with his guests, because we will be here in San Antonio next Friday with Maureen, Alan Noble, myself, Terry Latham, and Donalyn Dominguez, and a bunch of other people.
Jenny.
So get here, be here. Alan Noble, thank you. This has been an honor.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
again.
My pleasure, guys.
Happy
Happy
New
New Year
Year,
to everybody.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Have a great
The
weekend,
recording
too.
will be up in about an hour at redoxmatters.com. Thank you. God bless everybody.
Bye,
Have a
everybody.
great
Bye.
New Year. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.